Quarterback episode number 29. Taylor Swift's annoying. I don't care. I'm tired of hearing about all that shit and just listening to it and seeing it. And all the dumb stuff that's coming along with it, honestly. It's kind of obnoxious. What we saw, I think it was Aaron Rodgers called Travis Kelce Mr. Pfizer for his ads. What's crazy is I've probably heard 3 or 4 people complain about that shit as well, how he's doing these commercials, whatever, get the bag however you see fit. But I'm Joseph Huggins, aka Old Man Huggie, here with another episode, of course, as always, the Mr. Consistent. What's wild is I'm surprised y'all have stuck around for so long. 2.0 and Elwood's arm, his chair, and another eccentric and highly so meticulous, like it's not at random background, like, right, it looks so chaotic, but you know he did it on purpose. So I gotta put this pink car here, I gotta have half of this Clifford, his head poking out of the corner, right? I mean, he planned this shit. Am I right or am I wrong? 2.0.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, full of shit. But
100%.
But we're back with another one. Cowboys won. Ooh, so do the Eagles. So suck a dick. Bunch of good games.
The Broncos.
I know, we'll get into that too. The Broncos still are a shit dumpster fire and fucking suck. No offense. I mean, they're a mess. But we had a bunch of good games over the weekend. But how are y'all? How are things? How are we living? Oh, would you see more alive?
Great.
You see more alive this time?
Well, I feel good this week.
That's good.
The symptoms are there. The illness is gone. And, yeah. I beat Warden's ass in fantasy, baby. Happy birthday, Warden. Warden's birthday.
Oh, hell yeah. Shout out Warden, dude. Happy birthday.
And only reason I won the match was because of the good old Cowboys defense coming through for me.
And how are you 2.0? How are you? You obviously lost your sleeves. We're sorry to hear about that.
Yeah.
But how are you?
Too much time in the gym, you know. It was bound to happen eventually.
Oh, okay.
I'm doing good. All
right, cool. Well, I'm glad y'all are here. So welcome back. Andy will join us later, and then storm out as his new go-to move of storming out of the show every time, which, I mean, honestly, I'm kind of enjoying. Well, let's get into some of these games real quick. The first game we had Lions versus the Packers. Lions kicked the shit out of the Packers, honestly. David Montgomery showed why he's the starting running back. Not that, you know, they don't have other talent, like that they didn't spend a first-round pick on a running back, but while Gibbs is great, David Montgomery, I loved David Montgomery when he was on the Bears. He's just a beast. They ran all over Green Bay. Jordan Love played pretty subpar. Romeo Doubs had some catches, 9 for 95, but they were all over him basically from the jump. It didn't seem like the Packers, it was even close. They had a 3-0 lead, and then they were down the rest of the game.
Yeah, I think the only good thing for Packers is Jordan Love looks like he's actually going to be a pretty damn good quarterback for that team going forward. He doesn't really have an O-line, you know. The Lions kind of fucking were just all over his ass, but, you know, he's putting up consistent numbers, throwing good passes, and Christian Watson's first, Christian Watson, right?
Christian Watson, yes.
Yeah. First game back, he even, you know, didn't do too shabby. I didn't know if he was going to actually, you know, we'll see if he turns out to be the number one receiver that they're expecting him to be in the season.
I think you really
Lions, man. Not going to lie, I looked at Cowboys' schedule. Our last 4 weeks are Bills, Lions, Washington, and then someone else. It's not like I was just like, damn, all those. Oh, Miami. Yeah. I was like, damn, all those games, man. To end the fucking season with, Lions. I'm actually happy for them until I got to play them, you know.
Yeah, I mean, they looked good. Jordan Love is talented. He was 23 of 36 for 246, touchdown, 2 picks, lots of pressure. I mean, he's a talent. It's obvious he's a talent. He knows the offense. You can tell that he's been watching Aaron Rodgers for a couple of years, picked up some of his mannerisms, some of the way he throws certain routes and things he looks for in like his back shoulder fades or those quick snap throws to the end zone, those high jump balls. Like there's similarities into some of the reads they make. I think obviously when you spend 4 years watching film or 3 years watching film with Aaron Rodgers, he's going to teach you those things. But I mean, Aaron Jones didn't play. They didn't run the ball well. The defense.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Aaron Jones, he didn't play, or I thought that was his first week back.
First week back, 5 for 18. But the biggest thing that I've always found interesting about the Packers, so that they always say they never spend any first round picks, any options on offense, right? But their offense has always been basically their calling card for the most part. Their defense, they always invest so much in their defense, and their defense lets them the fuck down. I can't remember the last time a Packers defense didn't let them down. Like, now, obviously, when they had a number 1 seed, they were playing in the snow against the 49ers and, like, lost that playoff game. But those are kind of, like, anomaly games in the sense that you're playing in, like, the freezing cold. But even then, their defense didn't necessarily stop anybody. And they've invested a lot of first-round picks. They have a lot of money dropped on that defense, and their defense right now seems like the most inconsistent thing on this Packers team. Whenever we always expect it to be the offense, even when it was Aaron Rodgers, oh, he's pissed. He doesn't have any receivers. What's he going to do? And he throws for like 46 and 2. And you're like, what? And he's like, oh, my touchdown to interception ratio is like 6-1 or 10-1, some stupid shit, right? But the defense is always what chokes. They always choke on defense. It's really something I don't think gets talked about enough. Even the Niners with Kaepernick, they were giving up 80, 90-yard runs to Kaepernick. Just scrambles. Boom, dude's gone. Boom. It was never the offense. It was always that defense. And the Lions look like the real deal. I think they're a team. They haven't played their best football yet, so they're still growing, which is awesome. I've always liked Jared Goff. I don't think he's some world beater, but he's above average. Like you can get it done with Jared Goff because he's like tough as fuck and he's out there barking and screaming. He's a good leader. But he was 19 of 28 for 210, a touchdown and a pick. But 32 carries for 121 and 3 touchdowns. That's great. And then Gibbs 8 for 40, Raymore 1 for 40, and then Goff had 2 for 10. Look out. I mean, Josh Reynolds looks like a player. Obviously, Amon-Ra St. Brown's awesome, but their defense looks like it's getting better and better. Can you imagine if they would have drafted Jalen Carter? If they had Jalen Carter next to Hutchinson, how scary this Lions defense would be. They would be unstoppable. They totally had the opportunity to do that. Granted, they wouldn't got Gibbs, but it looks like David Montgomery's your bell cow back. You're going to ride him until he, falls apart. So can you imagine if he was in that defensive line rotation? If you had Jalen Carter and Hutchinson, you'd have to double team one of them. You'd leave one of them one-on-one. That would be scary as fuck. But the Lions look good. I mean, they're in first place, 3-1. Vikings are garbage.
Yeah.
Bears are the Bears. I mean, the Packers are down. They pick up the dub against the Packers. They've got, the lead in the division.
Let's celebrate the Bears for Joey allowing the Broncos to now not be the worst team in the league. It is officially the Bears.
Well, yeah, we'll get...
this is one of the few seasons, though, where being the worst team in the league is okay, because it means you're going to get Caleb Williams.
All right, well, we'll get into that in a sec. Anything else on this game? Lions, Packers.
Bears.
Which of these teams wins the division?
Lions.
You think the Lions win the division?
Yeah, the way that division is going, and the way the Lions are going.
Playoff game.
Yeah.
That would be big. You realize that if Jared Goff, let's say he takes them to the playoffs, he will have taken 2 teams to the playoffs that have been historically bad for a period of time. Whenever he was drafted and went to the Rams were not great. He was a number 1 overall pick, and he helped be a part of a team that went to a Super Bowl. You could, speak on how good that team was, whatever, and then they won one without him. But without Jared Goff, they don't even get to that point. And then he goes to Detroit.
I actually felt bad for him when they won they won the year after trading him I was like, damn, that's
But
gotta.
but if he's able to take this team to the playoffs, that's something Matt Stafford has never done. And historically in football, that could be crazier than winning a Super Bowl. They swapped places, and he will have, and Jared Goff will be the one of the two who's won in both places. Because Matt Stafford ain't won shit, and you could say he had way more talented teams, at least on offense or at receiver. Maybe they weren't as complete, and this team's more balanced. But if Goff takes his team to the playoffs and even just wins, he will have carried two franchises.
Well, didn't Stafford have Aaron Donald and Von Miller on that team?
Oh yeah, I mean that team was stacked.
Yeah.
So he's like, it was basically if Chris Paul wins a championship ring now, I'd call bullshit. I mean, I fucking hate Chris Paul. I think he's an awful. I don't think he's that good of a player. I don't think he's that great of a leader.
You don't think he deserves just one ring?
There's a whole man. Think about
did?
this. Think about all of the people that he played with. All right, this is like a little Chris Paul sidebar.
Side note.
But, okay, when you think about Chris Paul and everywhere he's played, they always talk about him being on the right team. Think about every player that has won a championship after playing with Chris Paul, but didn't win with Chris Paul. Morris Peterson, Peja Stojakovic, Tyson Chandler, David West. There's a laundry list of people who won NBA championships later in their careers once they got away from playing with Chris Paul than they ever won with Chris Paul. So he's had, let's say, maybe if he had 100 teammates, like 30 of them have won championships without him.
Well, I'll say this: I'd rather have Chris
or maybe
Paul
even more, like
win a
impactful,
ring than Harden win a ring.
Think about all the people that were on your.
Yeah.
Think about this: all the people that were on your Mavs team that won that first championship. A lot of those people were traded. You traded for those players from the Hornets. You traded for them, right? And then
football.
And all those guys were all on the same team at one point. And the one person that was on that team that hasn't won a championship is Chris Paul. I'm just saying.
I do think Mavs are going to be good this year. But yeah, football is kind
all right. Well, so we'll see.
Hey, actually, we should have started. Go Rangers! Let's go Texas Rangers, sweeping the wild card series against Tampa.
But it's playing Tampa.
Dude, we always play Tampa, and Tampa has had our, before the World Series run, had our number for years and years.
Yeah, that's ancient history. Let's see what the Rangers
got. And now it's the Baltimore Orioles, against the fucking best teams.
The Rangers were started out super hot and combat rolled into the fucking playoffs. So
the pitching looked really good today.
They got to prove some shit.
It was
all right. Falcons, Jags. The London game.
Man, the one game I didn't get to watch because I was out playing disc golf with the buddies, and that was the one game I wanted to watch because the Toy Story stuff. But I heard it didn't really work that well.
That's that.
I thought it was kind of good.
Yeah, it looked kind of tight, but that whole phrase was funny. Oh man, that's the one game that I missed because I was out playing disc golf with my buddies, and I really wanted to catch that one because of the Nickelodeon stuff. That's like the most stoner. That's the most stoner phrase in regards to a football game you could possibly have, or a stoner excuse to want to watch, and reason why you missed
so early game. Because it was a London time. So that's I'm actually out at 8 playing with the boys, and so I got the update on my phone. I forget what hole, and I was like, oh shit. Yeah, and then they got the Jags playing 2 games in a row in London.
The Jags got kicked the shit out of the Falcons.
They make love for the Jags.
Well, they make
overseas.
They make the Jags play over there all the time. It's weird. It's always like
that's
Jacksonville.
What I'm saying. Is there
Jacksonville, Houston? It's always that AFC. That AFC.
No, I feel like the Jaguars kind of volunteer for it. Their owner volunteers for it, so they can get kind of like the first crack at all the international fans.
Okay, I get that too. Hey, Trevor Lawrence, man.
Yeah, well, what is it? Khan isn't Khan the owner of? So he's like
Shaka Khan.
Yeah, he's not Shaka Khan, but yes.
Well, the owner of the Jaguars,
Shio Khan, dude, watch out.
The owner of the Jaguars' son, Tony Khan, is the kid who runs the wrestling
AEW,
show I watch.
AEW, yeah. They have a shit ton of crazy money, but Jags kick the shit out of the Falcons. Falcons look bad.
Did not see that coming.
Look bad. There's a lot of high hopes for this Jacksonville team who's played great. Etienne's healthy. Lawrence looks good. They have Christian Kirk. Then you throw in a healthy, no more gambling Calvin Ridley. You got to see a little bit of that in this game, but they only passed for 195 to the 160.
Senior Evan Ingram with the tight end to help Lawrence out.
They barely won yards per play. It was 287 to 300. Yards per play. Falcons had 5 yards per play. Jags were at 4.7. Pretty even on fourth downs. Pretty even on third downs. Total plays, Jags won. But, they had less punts. There was a lot of turnovers. Obviously, it looks like, there's no turnovers by Jacksonville. And you had 3 by Atlanta. Some people are saying Ritter's not the guy. He looked bad. 19 to 31 for 191. Bijan Robinson's a beast. It's going to be, this will be frustrating. They're going to have to make a move to do something because he had 14 carries for 105 yards. It's like, why are you even trying to throw the ball? And he also had 5 catches for 32 yards. So that means when he runs the ball, he averages 7.5. When he catches it, it's 6.4. But they're not throwing it to Kyle Pitts. Two catches, 21 yards. Jonnu Smith, 6 catches for 95 yards. I don't understand this offense. Drake London, 3 for 28 with a touchdown.
Unfortunately, Bijan, I think he's going to have, because I knew this from college, and you can argue if you want, but I feel like he's very similar to, could be the next Christian McCaffrey, as far as if he's used right. The kid can do anything. He can literally run definitely wide out down the field and burn people. But he's in this team with what you just said, doesn't really know what they're doing. Would you say Atlanta's kind of in a weird
Atlanta's in a
restart of the team?
Atlanta's definitely in a rebuild. There are. They've spent a top 15 pick on a wide receiver, a top 5 pick on a tight end. They just spent another first-round pick on a running back. A top 10 pick on a running back. They're perpetually having a lottery pick. So obviously, they hit a home run with Algier, or who's a really good running back as well. So they have a lot of talent, but the way the ball's being distributed, there's a lot of rumors. And not to get into the other game, but Justin Fields might be somebody that you could see them trade for.
I've heard.
If you had Justin Fields and Robinson in the backfield, you could do some pretty cool things. But they don't use arguably one of the most talented tight ends, or trade away. Please, for the love of God, trade away Kyle Pitts, not just for fantasy owners, just so that he can actually make plays. He's the most underutilized person. On any other team, he'd be blowing up.
Apparently Gibbs is pretty bad too, or is underutilized.
And London looks good. Well, but that's what we were saying in the last game is Gibbs, you could say, but Montgomery's running the fuck all over people. So it's
totally.
Yeah, totally. He's and obviously he's getting adjusted to the speed of the game and playing at the next level. So it's better for them to slowly bring in Gibbs because Montgomery's a bowling ball and he's going to slow people down, make them tired. That's when you put in Gibbs. Hit him on a little flare or a screen or some sort of maybe counter, something to get him the ball in space, and he's going to run past a bunch of tired people that Montgomery's been curb stomping all day. But this Falcons offense
who Jacksonville's playing next week in London?
Buffalo.
That'll be a good game.
Oh, wow. Okay. Cool.
And then there were some misreads. Yeah. There were some misreads by Desmond Ridder. There was a video of Mac Hollins, who's fucking huge, just cussing out Ridder on the sideline and barking at him. There's a lot of dysfunction on this team. There's a lot of talent on the defense, and the defense has played well. But when your offense is playing this bad, it's really difficult for the defense to keep up. Broncos, you guys know that. So, although it's the opposite this year, maybe.
When you talk about cursing someone out on the sidelines, I honestly thought you were about to talk about that coach.
And I think
the old quarterback.
Oh, Trent Dilfer. Yeah, that video's wild.
Yeah.
But, obviously, Dilfer. I think this Jaguars team is only going to get better. They're young. They have a lot of good talent, a lot of athleticism, and I think Trevor Lawrence is still a good quarterback. So I think they're only going to get better. They're 2-2. But, 2-2, and so is Atlanta. Jaguars are definitely a better 2-2 team right now.
Trevor's,
and they're just only going to get better.
Lawrence is from the same draft as Burrow, right? Or did he come after?
After. He came before, right? Trevor Lawrence was the year before.
No, he came. Yes, yeah.
Before?
Because they were both number 1 overall picks, I think.
Yeah.
No, Burrow. Was Burrow number 1?
I think so.
Well, Cincinnati, it probably makes sense. But I could be wrong.
Pretty sure, man.
Sorry, I was just trying to think, like, out of that they were.
Oh, I'm pretty sure you're right.
Yeah, I think Cincinnati rushing Burrow way too early this season.
No, I mean, I think they have their own issues. They don't have an offensive line, so. But Rams.
Yeah, it's like
Rams Colts in OT 29-23.
Oof.
Stafford throwing the ball around, 1 touchdown, 1 pick, 27-40. Kieran Williams ran really well, 25 for 100 with 2 touchdowns. And then Puka, man, 9 catches, 163 and a touchdown. Richardson.
Yeah, he's a rookie, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Richardson, 11 for 25 for 200 and 2 touchdowns. Moss ran the ball okay, 18 for 70. Ogletree, three catches, 48 and a touchdown. I mean, this Colts offense is super limited. I mean, now they're both 2-2 coming out of this OT game. I don't think we learned a lot about either of them. The offense for the Colts is weird. I'm not that big of a fan of it. I mean, Richardson's good, obviously talented, but the way he was running around just makes me nervous, man. He's already gotten concussion. He's hurt a lot in college. It's like they need to really. That's somebody that I'm like, okay, you kind of rush this guy back. To start him. You could have started somebody else. Because Gardner Minshew's probably been a more effective passer when he's been back there under center than Richardson.
Oh, man.
The offense isn't as flashy, but I'd say it's definitely more productive in a certain way. And then 3 field goals. Richardson and them came back, so you got to give them credit for that. And then Puka, 22-yard touchdown pass from Stafford. This Puka dude's for real, man.
Yeah,
he go to school.
I know.
BYU. It's pretty wild, man. That's who we play. That's who the Eagles play this week, I believe. It's the Rams.
Mm-hmm. Rams.
So that'll be a good
game. I think the Rams are honestly one of the bigger surprise. I don't think anyone thought they were going to be that really, competitive of a team.
Well, no, on a talent level, maybe not. But they're not a team that they're not going to quit. So that's the whole thing. Is they're one of those teams where they're not going to quit. Atlanta right now looks like they're not a team that's quitting, but a team that's really shaky, and there's a lot of dysfunction and people getting frustrated with each other. The Rams are Matt Stafford's going to go out there and plug away at it and be a crazy gamer, and it's the biggest game of his life every time he plays. That's just how Matt Stafford's always played the position. It's always been fun to watch. That's why he takes some of the risks he takes and has some of the crazy throws. Or, hate to bring it up whenever the whole we're going to spike it against the Cowboys, and then he just stuck the ball over. He's a gamer. That's the type of shit that he does. So he's not going to go out there and quit. That Matt Stafford's definitely not going to do that. And they have some young talent that's making plays. Van Jefferson being healthy helps. You get Akers out of there if he's been a bad influence or whatever. Not that I've heard that, but And then Aaron Donald. But yeah, I think they're playing more at their maximum than I don't think that we're going to see a better version of this Rams team. I think that it'll be kind of the same week in and week out. They're definitely a 500-ish team. As are the Colts. I see the Colts, being more of a 6-win team, 6-11. They're going to hit a 5-game skid where they lose some games because either Richardson's not healthy or there's bad turnovers. I just don't trust that team as much. But the Rams are always going to show up.
Who do you trust more right now in that division, Seattle or Rams?
Oh, Seattle. I trust Seattle much more than I trust the Rams. I trust their defense more, especially their corners, the way their secondary's been playing, and their run game I trust more. They have more depth. Yeah, I definitely trust the Seahawks more than I trust the Rams right now. And then the Colts. I mean, 11 of 25 for 200 is not that good. And the 10 rushes for 56 yards. So he's ran the ball like 10 times. That's less than 50% passing. That's like literally his college stats. No, I'm just not sold. The 3 catches for 48. That's your leading receiver. So I mean that tells me. And you have Michael Pittman Jr. 1 catch, 15 yards.
Gross.
Just not sold on this. Colts. I'm just curious to see what it looks like, how they're able to develop Anthony Richardson. Obviously, this year won't dictate his future, but there has to be some growth throughout the season. Otherwise, like he's going to either be injured and out, and they're going to be playing Gardner Minshew, or they're going to literally win like 4 or 5 games. Like I just don't see it. Ravens Browns. Ravens kicked the shit out of the Browns. The MVP of preseason, Dorian Thompson-Robinson, who was running around crazy, threw 3 picks, 19 of 36 for 121 with Watson out. And Njoku played. He had really bad burns, like facial burns. I don't know if you saw that. And he showed up to the game dressed up in this like full face mask. Looked like kind of like Black Panther-ish. It was fucking wild. Lamar Jackson, 15 of 19 for 186 and 2 touchdowns. They just beat the shit out of them. They just dominated them. There was only 166 total yards, 73 passing, 93 rushing, 2.6 yards per play for the Browns. That's really bad. And they won the time of possession at 8 punts. So they made the Ravens punt 7 times. That's where the Ravens just not like ink. That's like ink.
2 teams that I think is we're losing you.
That's really bad. Ravens, I mean, there's nothing to say. I mean, Vikings finally get a win. Kirk Cousins, 12 for 19. These are some shitty passing stats from last week. 12 of 19, 139, 2 tutties, 2 picks. Matt,
we still don't have your video, by the way.
It'll pop up. I have it on my end, so that's weird. I don't know. But you can hear me, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, there you go.
Jefferson, 6 for 85 with 2 touchdowns. First game under 100. Or 149. First game under 100 with 100 or 148 because he's been going off. They finally pick up a win. Panthers jumped out to an early lead. Bryce Young, no turnovers, passing 25 of 32 for 204. Hubbard ran the ball okay. I mean, they had Miles Sanders 13 for 19 yards. And then 14 for 41 for Hubbard. Laviska Shenault. I love Laviska Shenault. I don't think he's used enough. He's on the wrong team. Shout out CU Buffs. One run for 7 yards. 1 catch for 12 yards. Adam Thielen, 7 for 76. Kind of went off a little bit. That might be like the best. But they came back. They won. They came back. They won this game. It's 2 bad teams. I think I'm surprised by how bad the Vikings are. Maybe I'm the only one. I know last week I was like, I don't think they're as bad as their 0-3 record says they are. And then they did pick up a win. But they look awful. And I did not expect them to be looking this bad. The next one we'll talk about is
I feel like that was
worse,
the same as last year with the Vikings. They were every game. How many?
Man, peak Wentz was a beast. No, peak Carson Wentz before he hurt his knee that year. We won the Super Bowl because we've won a Super Bowl in the past 25 years. I'm like, you schmucks.
Same.
But in that season, in that frame of time, whenever he was healthy, Carson Wentz was fucking balling.
I'm not trying to get you on a Carson Wentz.
No,
tangent,
I mean Carson Wentz is more about good.
Justin Jefferson is literally feeling the weight of that team, and it showed. Because who else do they really have after getting rid of Dalvin?
We'll get back into it because, like I said, if Kirk Cousins, I said last week, if Kirk Cousins is throwing the ball that much and they're not able to run the ball, which was a strength for them, they're focusing more on the pass than they are the run. That's why they're losing these games. I mean, he had 17 rushes for 95 yards, and then Akers had 5 for 40. So they did make an effort to run. They actually ran the ball more than they passed it, but Kirk Cousins making bad decisions and forcing the ball, 12 of 19 for 139. I mean, that's an ugly game. That's not a good game any way you slice it. I mean, your time of possession is 20. You won, and it's 21 minutes 31 seconds. The Panthers had it 38 minutes 29 seconds. That's really bad. That's really bad. I mean, they had 68 total plays. That's a rookie quarterback not being able to seal the deal and them having like growing pains in these penalties. 6 penalties for 80 yards on the Panthers. So I bet you a lot of those drives were stopped by these penalties. But it's not like they were. I mean, the Vikings 1 yard per play, so they had some big long shot plays, but it's not like they really did that much. 14 first downs to 20 for the Panthers. 1 for 8 to 5 and 14. One out of 2 on fourth down. The Panthers were 2 for 3. They gave up more sacks. They had more punts, more penalty yards, but they only had 1 turnover. So it's not, the Vikings barely got by in this game. I'm just surprised they're this bad against these teams we know are bad. I mean, the Panthers are 0-4 for a reason. Nobody's shocked by that. I'm more shocked by the fact that Minnesota is 1-3. They could have used their first round pick somewhere else. Addison was a bad decision, if you ask me. Great player, great route runner. I know he's going to bring more depth to receiver and take pressure off Jordan. Doesn't matter if you're taking anything off of Jefferson. If you're Justin Jefferson is one-on-one or not, they can't stop anybody. They can't run the ball, and they can't protect shit. Let's see here. What was the next one up? Bengals Titans, weirdest game ever. Titans ran all over them. You don't even have to talk about it. Bengals look really bad. That's another team where I'm shocked by how bad they look.
Yeah, that's the biggest surprise, I think, of the season so far.
And then the Titans.
I think it... What?
I'll say the Titans don't know who the fuck they are. They had 400 total yards, 227 passing, 173 rushing, and 6.5 yards per play. Bengals, 211 with 139 passing, 72 yards. They got outrushed by 101 yards. That's crazy. They look really bad.
Really I think the Bengals' start of their season it's more shocking and more surprising than even a team that's like doing better than what everyone thought they would be doing, kind of thing.
I mean,
I think it's just that kind of flip to where it's like, holy crap, like, because they were in the conference championship last year, right?
They scored. They got a field goal in the first quarter, and then they didn't score again. That's crazy.
Or was it Bills?
27 unanswered points. Just, I mean, the Bengals are playing bad football. There's no other way to slice it. Some people might be losing their job. Next game, Bucks Saints. The Bucks bounce back. Now they're 3-1 after losing to the Eagles. Baker Mayfield, 3 touchdowns, 1 pick, 25 of 32.
Real deal Baker.
Chris Godwin, 8 for 114. Carr got hurt again. The return of Alvin Kamara. The Saints team, another team that's way worse than I thought they were going to be. That's a lot of people's pick to, at least make it to the playoffs or win the division, and they don't even look like.
Well, Carr will be back this week, right? Because he was just out for.
He was back last week.
Yeah, he was back in this game. So he played in this game and he got hurt again in the fourth quarter. This dude's getting hurt left and right. They have way more issues than just missing Alvin Kamara, and it's very apparent.
Yeah, but Kamara looked good for his first game out.
Yeah, I mean, he looked good, but
he always is.
But you're losing 26 to 9. It doesn't really fucking matter.
Well, Baker Mayfield, dude, the kid is tearing it up.
Carr's going 23 for 37 for 127. Dude. Alvin Kamara had 13 catches for 33 yards. That's your leading receivers. He had 13 catches, 4, 3, and then 4 people with 1 catch. Saints are bad. I don't even want to waste my time talking about that shit. What was the next one? Bills Dolphins. Kind of like I've been saying. They got humbled. They bumped into a team that's more physical than them. Maybe not be as fast as them consistently, but they're a lot more physical than the way they go about playing their football. I mean, Stephon Diggs, 6 catches for 120, 3 touchdowns. Josh Allen, 21 of 25 for 320 and 4 touchdowns. They lit them the fuck up. And Tua back down to 25 of 35 for 282 with 1 touchdown, 1 pick. They did have, 8 carries. Devon had 8 carries for 101 and 2 touchdowns. Tyreek Hill, 3 catches, 58 yards. He kind of got humbled. They both had about 400 yards between both of them, and the Dolphins actually ran for more. But it didn't even look that close. The Bills jumped on them early, and it was just the Dolphins chasing points at that point. And this is what's going to happen to the teams that are built like the Dolphins, teams that can be built like the Cowboys. Hold on. You have a lot of speed. You have a lot of talent. You can get the ball. If they get the ball in open space, they can make plays, and you can make plays in open space on defense. If a team seeks out closing that open space and just being in front of you and make you run over them, that's where they run into issues. If you guys run, if the Dolphins are into a good tackling team that's going to be physical with a Jalen Waddle, a Tyreek Hill, a Tua Tagovailoa, it's more difficult for them because they're not built to like push people around. They're built to run by people and escape, not bulldoze people.
I don't even care what you say because the true test comes for the Cowboys this weekend with one of the most physical teams in the league.
It's like whenever there was the Greatest Show on Turf and they ran into Tom Brady and they ran into that Patriots team where they ran the ball well and they did ball control and their defense was tough and physical and hit people. So they ran into a Richard Seymour and a Brewski and a Mike Vrabel. They ran into these guys that a fucking Rodney Harrison. These guys that were Rodney Harrison, extremely physical with them at the point of contact, and it neutralizes a Torrey Holt and Isaac Bruce and Marshall Faulk because those guys are like, I'm going to run by you. And it's like, no, you're going to have to run through me, and they're not built like that. And that's all I'm saying is the Dolphins are not built like that. Yards after catch is their biggest friend. Spread the ball around well, and like I said, they did run the ball, but at the end of the day, the Bills just kind of beat up on them. They just beat the shit out of them. And Josh Allen only ran the ball 4 times for 17 yards and a touchdown. So it's not like they ran the ball super, but Stephon Diggs, man possessed. So we'll see.
Playing for his brother out there.
Both good teams, just constructed differently. All right, wake up, Joe. Bears, Broncos. Bears jump out to a big lead, 21-7. Then they're up 28-14 at one point. 17 unanswered by the Broncos to win 31-28. Russell Wilson 21-28 for 223 and 3 touchdowns.
Yes, sir.
Jalean McLaughlin, whoever that is, whoever you have playing running back for you now.
Isn't that artist that sang songs in the 90s?
Sarah McLaughlin. 7 carries for 72 yards. Judy 3 for 52. You got to see flashes of how good Justin Fields can be. He was 28-35 for 335, his first game over 300 passing, and 4 touchdowns with 1 pick. Khalil Herbert, 18 for 103. DJ Moore, 8 for 131 and a touchdown. Bears had this game in the bag and just fucking blew it, man. I mean, Russell Wilson played like old Russell Wilson, which is great. A lot of people, I forgot you guys have little Jordan Humphrey. A lot of plays being made by Justin Fields that we've been waiting for him to make, to see these flashes, and then it just fell apart. The fumble when he does that little like naked play action bootleg shit, tries to throw the ball super quick and just throws it up in the air, gets a touchdown. I mean, they imploded. This Bears team is not good. Do you trade Justin Fields to Atlanta?
I think you do. Maybe you get like Cordarrelle Patterson and Kyle Pitts in return. Make it more appealing for Caleb Williams. Because Caleb Williams has come out and said, like, he has another year of eligibility. He can make more money in NIL deals than he can with his rookie contract.
Yeah,
so he's not in a big hurry to get to the league.
Yeah, he said that there's only a few teams that he would want to play for, and it's like the Cowboys, the Raiders. I can't remember who else.
I don't get the Raiders. 49ers.
Oh, I think he said Broncos.
I think he's a Cali kid. Where is he originally from? I feel like most people that go to USC are probably Cali people.
Well, he started out. Well, he followed Lincoln Riley there because he went to Oklahoma first. Mm-hmm. So.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I mean, but is Caleb Williams gonna? I guess he is an upgrade from Justin Fields. Maybe not as an overall athlete, but maybe in fit for scheme and what they're trying to do. But DJ Moore, I mean, they've got weapons. And then if you were to add someone like Kyle Pitts to the mix, that would be wild. Yeah, I don't know. Bears are bad. Broncos. So you're a Broncos fan. What's your take on the game? How did you feel about it? I know you guys suck, but
I mean, we got to win. We're officially not the worst team in the league. Fucking hate holding on to that and being happy for that, but at this point, I just got to take what I can get. But it seems like in the second half, we just started to execute a lot more. Our offense started clicking. We started hitting our blocks more. Our defense started tackling better. And I think that's something that's been missing a lot through the first 3 weeks. And so to kind of see that was positive, and I hope we can just keep building off of that.
Do you think you'll be able to?
I don't know. I feel like they have a good enough coaching staff that they will. But then I'm also kind of at the point where it's we aren't going to win the Super Bowl. What are we playing for? Let's not tank, but let's get a top 5 overall draft pick. Let's get a good player in there, a good potential foundational piece. And then next year, let's come out and kick butt.
Do you think Wilson's y'all's dude still?
He has to be. How much money in dead cap space would Russell Wilson be if you cut him?
I know last year it was $60 million or something.
Because it was how much was it?
Bad.
$240 million contract, some shit.
Yeah, 5 or 6 years, something
stupid
like that.
Yeah, something dumb as fuck.
I can see Pete Carroll lighting up a cigar just laughing.
But he spread the ball around. I mean, he made some plays. You guys have cut. You guys got rid of Randy Gregory, the $70 million man you got from the Cowboys. So he's I think there's going to be more of that housekeeping. We saw Sean Payton rip off his sleeves on the sideline, get his sleeves off because he was too hot, and then they started playing better. I think he's a douche. But, I mean, I just do. But overall, you guys pick up your first win, and this was close to being another one of those games where I was they're going to lose multiple. This defense is going to lose multiple games by 20 or more points. It was totally going that way. Really hard, and they were dick riding this game hard, and then they just collapsed. The Bears just collapsed. So I feel for Justin Fields in a lot of ways. I don't like Ohio State quarterbacks. It's almost like we're seeing a mimic of a Terrell Pryor when Terrell Pryor came out from Ohio State and what he was able to do and not able to do, and he ended up moving to receiver.
Sorry,
but it's got to be frustrating. But yeah, congrats. Congrats 2.0. Round of applause for you.
Thank you. First a few.
Eagles, Commanders. Eagles stay 4-0. Commanders drop to 2-2. A pretty close game throughout. Sam Howell ended up being 29 of 41 for 290 and a touchdown. Robinson 14 for 45, a touchdown. Howell had 6.
Dude.
There were big runs too. 6 for 40. Antonio Gibson 6 for 19. Then catching the ball, McLaurin is such he's a killer, man. He just destroys everybody in the NFC East. Terry McLaurin is so good. 8 for 86. Samuel 7 for 51. Brown 2 for 51, 3 for 40, 4 for 27, 1 for 15. He spread the ball around really well. I've been high on Sam Howell for forever. I think Sam Howell's great. He's super talented. Throws a really pretty deep ball. I mean, this is going into the game. I was like, oh, this game is going to be closer probably than people realize. They have one of the better front sevens in Washington. You think about that defensive line with Montez Sweat, Jonathan Allen, all these people. They have Deron Payne at their tackle position. They have a mean defensive line. Their defensive line is close and rivals the Eagles' defensive line and maybe a few others that have they're like 4 to 5 deep and you can make a case this guy's going to the Pro Bowl. They have a lot of that on defense. They play really good tight coverage and they have some good linebackers. But Sam Howell was slinging the ball, getting lots of time early in the game, especially. And then Jalen Hurts, 25 of 37 for 319 and 2 touchdowns. He had that big passing game that kind of everyone was waiting to see if he'd have. 14 for 56 and a touchdown for Swift. Gainwell had 4 for 14. Jalen Hurts had 9 for 34. When you watch the Eagles right now, you can see that Jalen Hurts isn't trying to run the ball nearly as much anymore. He's really trying to stay in the pocket, read down the field. You can make a case. There's times it pisses me off, but I can kind of appreciate it in that I think he's got kind of cold feet since the Super Bowl when he was scrambling and he fumbled, and that you can make a case that lost us the game or was a big reason why the Eagles lost the game. Not just that one play, but that contributed. I think he's making an effort to try to slide more, get out of bounds, not be taking the hits, running around scrambling, trying to make too much happen, which is the maturity and the growth you'd want to see, but kind of pissing me off. A.J. Brown had 9 for 175, 2 touchdowns. Devontae Smith, the Slim Reaper, 7 for 78. Dallas Goedert had 2 catches, but it was, A.J. Brown, Devontae, Dallas Goedert, Swift, Zacchaeus, and Gainwell are our catches for the day.
I thought that A.J. Brown touchdown at the end was stupid. Honestly, on y'all's part.
No.
I honestly thought y'all's game plan was just run it down, run the clock, kick a field goal, and be out.
I think that's normally the game plan, and because that's what they were expecting, they decided to take a shot. I think that they wanted to take a shot with some time left. The taunting call is bullshit. I'm so tired of these taunting calls and making people change cleats and all this stupid shit that the league is doing. Just let these people have some fun. The guy's sitting on the ground, set the ball in his lap. He didn't say anything to him, wasn't cussing him out. He didn't give him the finger. He didn't moon anybody. He didn't do any of this other shit. Just drop it with this taunting stuff. It's so cornball. But I digress. I think that's why they took that shot, is because they weren't expecting it, so he was able to get him with that double move. And they're trying to continue to develop that, have that relationship with A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith. Jalen Hurts getting more and more comfortable. New offensive coordinator. He wanted to take a shot. He's at home, wanted to put up some points, get his star receiver some shine after he's been bitching about not getting the ball. So I totally get why you make that call. But on the flip side, that taunting penalty is stupid, and then they get the ball short. Then they're running around, and then they aren't able to get into the end zone.
On the flip, too, how does Riverboat Ron not go for 2?
They're gassed
as an underdog.
No, you could tell in the you could tell even in overtime.
God.
No, you could tell even
What's
in overtime.
What's his name said it? I don't care. What's his name said it?
That's what Ron Rivera said. Ron Rivera said our guys were tired.
Yeah, I know. And they addressed it right the next day on Sports or whatever. And I forget who it said. Old receiver for Cincinnati. Oh, it's finally starting to rain.
Chad Johnson.
No.
C.J. Ushmanzada.
Goofy like you're.
No, we're freezing again.
Man, that's the lamest excuse you could have as not going for 2, and that's
On that drive, you saw exactly what I talk about though with Sam Howell and why I like Sam Howell. I still firmly believe the Tampa Bay.
He made that one throw in the corner when he got fucking hit.
The game tying touchdown at the end of regulation was a fucking dart. He threw that ball perfectly to Dotson. There's no one who could defend that. That was great. But I think they take that shot. And then can we just say real quick, Zach Cunningham, Nicholas Morrow for the line, walking the street on 3 sacks between them, forced fumble. and like something like 20 tackles, 21 tackles between these two guys at linebacker, just flying around. Who were like, okay, you guys are best football. There's games where their defense shows up and then their offense hasn't. I think we'll see this Eagles team continue to develop, and Commanders are just like we were talking about, a team that's not going to quit. They're just like the Rams. The Commanders are not going to quit. Their defense is mean as fuck. They have a really good defense, really good defensive line, so that's going to keep them in close, put up on the board. But this Washington team's going to get better and better and better.
I think Washington totally does what Giants did last year. Like, far as they are more than capable of getting in the playoff as a wild card.
It's possible. I think the Cowboys,
especially the way NFC.
Yeah, but they have and the veteran teams they might play will get in the way when they play in Miami. When they play some of these teams, I think that will be difficult for them. But I think they beat the Patriots. I think they are definitely competitive, and they're above average or above competitive on defense, which is always something that's going to keep your team. Shows up, can get that critical stop. Steelers, Texans kick the shit out of them. Is Stroud the real deal? I don't really want to talk about the Steelers because they're bad.
I mean, every indication so far says he is. He looks solid, and it's not like they have a great team. Like, yeah, they have weapons, but they aren't.
Yeah, I mean, he's on pace to have one to jinx somebody. Hasn't thrown any yet. Texans looked decent last year as well. They were able to run the ball with Pierce. They've added, to their defense. Yeah, I mean, this Texans team, I don't know how for real. For 18, 16 to 30 for 306, 2 touchdowns. Pickett left to say you want him to do good, but man, Pickett looks bad.
Mm-hmm.
Nico Collins went off. 7 catches, 168, 2 touchdowns. Dalton Schultz, 3 for 42 with a touchdown. Yeah, I mean, Texans are a team that's not going to quit. It looks like they might have found themselves the quarterback of the future. Pittsburgh, I don't know who knows what version of Pittsburgh's going to show up week to week. I mean, I don't think this could be the season where he loses his streak for winning record. And then we had the Raiders versus Chargers. Chargers ended up winning this game. I am so not sold on Justin Herbert. I'm so tired of hearing about how good Justin Herbert is. Chargers, the rookie was 24-39 for 238 and a pick. Obviously, he has had no preparation, no prep time. Aiden O'Connell, for the time he had to get ready, looked actually pretty good. But the Raiders are a dumpster fire. And I'm saying, you can make a case of Chargers. I say every year. I'm going to say it right now. Chargers don't make the playoffs. This is the year that Justin Herbert doesn't make the playoffs. I said that last year. They squeaked fucking by, and then they got smoked. So it didn't fucking matter anyways. But I'm just not so. He holds the ball too long. I mean, you had to have Khalil Mack have 6 with that goose eggs the whole second half. I'm just not sold. I'm not sold on the Chargers. I'm not sold on Herbert. I'm just not. Throws a pretty ball, sure. Whatever. He's got long flowing hair, and he's like, 23, 24? Am I crazy, Joe? Am I crazy for not believing in Justin Herbert?
Yes.
Why do you say that?
I think he's a good quarterback. Is he a top 5 quarterback in the league? No, but I think 15, 20 teams in the league would love to have a quarterback of his caliber.
But do you think he's going to be worth the top 5 quarterback? And that's, I mean...
Well, we've also haven't seen a full season of him with Keenan Allen and Mike Williams healthy.
You mean like the 32-year-old wide receiver and the other receiver who's always hurting his knee and is now out for the year? Like, we'll probably never see that at this point. And it looks like... what's his name? Quentin Johnston does not look that great. The rookie out of TCU, the wide receiver they took, and now he's got to step up. I'm just not sold on it. I'm not sold on, and he's 13 to 24 for 167. The Raiders could.
Hey, he got me good fantasy points, baby.
And they. Yeah, They had 7 sacks. 6 of them were Khalil Mack. Khalil Mack's a monster still. Still a monster. Chargers lost the time of possession game by like 5 minutes. Just not, maybe I'm crazy, but the Chargers don't make the playoffs. Book it. Book it. Back to earth for the Cardinals. They lose to the 49ers. That's who y'all played this week. We'll get into that in a bit. Patriots, Cowboys. We'll talk about that. Cowboys smoked the Patriots. Mac Jones definitely has regressed. 12 of 21 for 150, 2 picks. Dak 28 of 34 for 261 and a touchdown. That's right in that sweet spot where you want Dak throwing the ball. You don't want him throwing the ball 40 times. 34, 35 is about where you want him to be. But we'll get into that in a second. But they ended up pulling Mac Jones. They put in Zappy.
I just thought it was time. He didn't need to be in the game anymore.
But
you see that press conference afterwards?
Oh yeah, he's pissed. There was 2 picks by Bland.
Or this matter fair.
2 picks by Bland. 1 for 2 defensive touchdowns. I mean, they were all over. Difficult to watch.
Like,
if you're a Patriots.
Can we celebrate that the Cowboys made history? Can we get some hand claps? Handed Bill Belichick his biggest loss of his career.
But
well, let's go.
Can you still hear us 2.0?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, sorry. I always have reasons
just working out, getting some reps.
Why Dak sucks. Coming directly from an NFC team's quarterback. These are the statistics for the touchdowns or points that quarterbacks have been responsible up until this point of the season. Cowboys have the largest point differential right now out of any team in the league. I guess maybe Miami. And for 48 of the team's total, 118 points. So 48 of those 118. The Giants is responsible for 18 of the team's 39% of them are coming from Daniel Jones. The Commanders, 34%. Sam Howell is responsible for 30 of the team's 89 total points. That's him running or passing the ball. He is responsible for these points. Cal, 124 total points. So the defense, your defense is super fast and make plays. Deron Bland is fast as shit. You're going to throw the Pop Warner football shit by Mac Jones. Your defense is too good to be trying to make stupid ass plays like that. And you see these teams, these bad teams doing these little stupid shit and they end up turning the ball over. But Dak Prescott, especially in the red zone, is only responsible for 24. Your defense has more points. Think about it. He has 24. What's his name? Deron Bland is 2 touchdowns than Dak Prescott right now. Think about that. He's a corner.
This podcast should change your name instead of Angry Bike Quarterback to Angry on Justin Herbert, hating on Dak.
No, I'm being consistent because I said last year I didn't like Justin Herbert and I didn't think that he could get the job done. I thought that it's going to be a while. I said that I could see him being one of those quarterbacks who never wins a Super Bowl but has all this talent. He reminds me way more of like a Dan Marino type quarterback or a Drew Bledsoe style quarterback than he does John Elway. That's all I'm saying.
Well, there was a lot of people that said the game was going to...
I said that it could be.
I'm saying people.
Same. And I think we're now realizing how bad the Patriots actually are because they're pretty shitty. But
here we go.
But your defense should beat the shit out of them if they're a bad team. You wouldn't want it to be close. There was a first drive, then there was a touchdown that was ruled not a touchdown. It was kind of close, and they got a field goal. After that, it just collapsed. They started imploding on offense. Mac Jones is regressing like before our eyes, and he's kind of a douchebag. So trust me, I enjoyed watching Mac Jones get knocked the fuck around and be chewed out on the sideline. I hate that guy. He grabs people's dicks on the side. He grabbed Sauce Gardner's dick 2 weeks ago for the Cowboys. That's a problem.
We did better, and once from being in the red zone.
Well,
this
I'm
whole
just saying,
red zone
what I'm just saying is this:
you know.
Mike McCarthy lost his job in Green Bay when he was calling the offense post Super Bowl for the Packers, and he got fired. The offense was underperforming, and they weren't putting up points on the fucking board. And at that period of time, they actually had a pretty damn good defense. They couldn't do shit with it because they couldn't put points up on the board. That's why he got fired. This West Coast offense that they have him in, to me, makes CeeDee Lamb less impactful. He seems weird.
He's been making plays.
Because I'm saying that on like a game-to-game basis, it's not like he's lighting it up. So Ferguson, 7 for 77. CeeDee Lamb, 4 for 36. And Jalen Tolbert had the same amount of catches and more productivity in yards. This West Coast dink and dunk offense is shrinking the field, and it's making it harder for the Cowboys in the red zone. Uniqueness in the playbook when y'all get into the red zone, because that's basically what you're running. Teams' red zone offensive plays are way more West Coast. Whenever they're in there, it's smaller, tighter routes, route combinations. Right now, it's like, oh, well, fake handoff. We're dunking it off to Ferguson. Like, there's not a lot of creativity on the offense. It's really bland in Manila, and it's taking people like a CeeDee Lamb out of the game, is what I'm saying. They're not putting him in the best place to succeed because he's not running necessarily all the routes where he's the most impactful. This offense develops and grows throughout the year. That'll be better for them long term. But I don't necessarily.
There he is.
Oh yeah, sorry. Well, I was saying this like breaker on long routes. Everything's shorter. Everything's ball possession, and Dak Prescott's only responsible for 24 of 124 points. So he's probably responsible for the lowest amount of points on a team with the highest turnover differential. That's just an interesting statistic because it normally doesn't work that way. Normally, if you're putting up the most points or you have the biggest point differential, your quarterback is responsible for a good. Mars going to be going to the Pro Bowl. Don't worry about that. Matches up this week in San Francisco. Like I said, big physical, put their hands on you, run at you. Big physical wide receivers. That like it's going to be an interesting game to see your defense and speed match up against the power and strength of this offensive line. Michael Parsons versus Trent Williams. That's going to be an interesting matchup. We're going to get to see all these different matchups across the field. And it's going to be pretty cool to watch. It's going to be a good game. But if it's, I think it will be. But I do think if it gets out of hand, it gets out of hand in one direction, because they're going to look at that game plan that Arizona calls. I see that happening. But Cowboys won.
Well, question the team just because they have everything going for them. Not only in the season, but they have this, like, the 49ers have had their number. So it's like we're going into San Francisco of a team that has knocked us out of the playoffs 2 years in a row, that already has historics established, somewhat old rivalry, the old 49ers Cowboys, which is the same thing. Team, with the talent we have, actually, Cowboys, I would really hope for them to come out hot and really play harder than what people would necessarily have them play against 49ers, just because, like I said, we should be pissed off. We should come out and be like, no, fuck y'all.
Yeah, well, what I'm saying is, while this does have
that
90s feel to it, you can't. Cowboys are not where those Cowboys teams were in the 90s. So the Niners are closer to that, and we'll see. If the Cowboys get behind 10, 13 points, it's going to be a tough game. It's going to be a long fucking day off the field, and to have ball control, the Cowboys can't get behind. They're going to, like I always say, they're just going to lean on them. They're going to lean into them and lean on them and lean on them, and there's nothing that they're going to be able to do to stop it. They're just going to be, because they're going to be gassed. If Dak's getting 3 and outs or turning the ball over, that defense is going to get tired really quick. Like I said, they're fast. They're great sideline to sideline, but so is this offensive line. So is Christian.
There's only one person
Christian McCaffrey.
Worried about, and that's him.
Yeah, but Christian, you need to be worried about Kittle over the game. Those hits.
What's technically the Cowboys' biggest weakness on defense is everything Christian McCaffrey can technically.
Pulling Trent Williams, and he's popping Michael Parsons in the ear hole and gets a good block. And then the very next play, Michael Parsons has to cover somebody on a little flare out like Kittle. Kittle's is going to be just as physical. It's going to be a matchup of speed versus physical, and it's going to be interesting to watch because the Cowboys are fast. They can fly around on defense. There is no doubt about that. But
you heard it here. You'll see the Cowboys' physicality.
Physical, and they're not playing with the lead. This could get ugly. It could get ugly just because they're going to start pounding the ball and keeping it from the Cowboys. And then Dak's going to
put money on Cowboys, Joe.
Cowboys losing these games whenever they have these years. Put the ball in Dak's hands, and he doesn't hand the ball to the official to spike it, or because he decides to fucking run. It's always some dumb shit. The best thing they can do is put the ball in Dak's hands and try to have Dak go win the game for him. That's the best thing the 49ers can do. and they can do that by being physical, running the ball, and getting out to an early lead. Bullshit. Jets should have won this game. It's so frustrating.
That call at the end was really bad.
Not just there's so many. Hey, man, I mean that there was some of the ball. You see the guy throw the ball way after it happened, and then whenever he gets the pick, that's when they throw the flag. Get the fuck out of here. I mean, Joe, have you seen a worse officiated game?
No.
That was bad. There's no other way to describe that. That was such bad officiating. They had that one guy caught. Nobody saw you picking up this guy, holding him by his armpits, holding him by his pubes, just like, don't go. Literally holding on to this fucking guy. Weird officiating and cooking. Actually saw the torch be passed from Tom Brady to Patrick Mahomes and getting the most bullshit calls of all time. And just getting bullshit calls because he throws a fucking hissy fit. Look, I'm a Paul Pierce fan till I die. That is my favorite basketball player of all time. Paul Pierce would bitch and moan about calls all the time, about fouls, and sometimes he'd get them. That's why he's like a Hall of Fame level basketball player. Finals MVP because he knew how to work it. It's the same thing with bitches about calls. LeBron James, bitches. I don't have to tell you because you're a Mavs fan, and he shot like 30 free throws in that one game in the finals whenever they beat the Mavs because he was sitting there just flopping all over the place. And we see Patrick Mahomes act a fool if there's anything that's remotely close to a call. He just sits there and screams and throws his hands up. It's that thing. That's what I would get a bad call. He was never really like barking and throwing his hands. He'd take his mouthpiece out. He'd look disappointed. He'd bitch on the sidelines, but I never really saw him or something being late or, oh, that should be a call. And some of those, like, you know, what is it? Window shopping fans of Patrick Mahomes. I think that game put some people off about that whole situation because those are bad fucking.
I have no favoritism towards Mahomes. So, you know, couldn't let their girl down.
I'm sure. That shit's so ridiculous. At least
You
it
didn't
wasn't
see the
as
brace?
underneath the zebra stripes, but it's like mesh as much. But they did say that this game, like Chiefs games, dropped like 4 million viewers this past week. And they attributed some of it to like over coverage of it, which sounds ridiculous. But just people are really in. That's a lot of pressure, dude.
Same thing about Colorado games. Like, I feel bad for the players where it's like every new, and I don't mean Denver, I mean, every week there's a new celebrity on their sideline.
Man,
oh, yeah.
Like, I mean, you got to remember, they won one game last year. One. They were 1-11. They've been a joke of football, and Pac-12 football, which you could make a case has been a joke for a while.
I wasn't hating on them.
No, I know, but I'm just saying. So I
was just in the pressure with all this, like.
And no,
other than his son that's making the money and can be comfortable, you know, there has to be this impact on a lot of other players where it's like, oh shit,
there's a lot of kids making money. I'm sure some of them got fucking dispensary deals, man. Like all sorts of good.
Stuart Sanders has a Rolls Royce.
Yeah, I know. And then the other one like both of his sons, they're getting paid. But what I mean with CU, it's just like it's also you got to remember it's Deion Sanders. If she took them even to the borderline of the tournament, the Shaq's game he's coaching would be on ESPN. They could be playing like Monmouth State Community College, Tech and vocational school, and that game would still be on TV because it's Shaq. Deion has that star appeal. But no, that was definitely some ref cooking for Mahomes. No. To me, there's no way around it. That was bullshit.
Yeah.
And Zach Wilson, who's like lost this locker room like 100 times. I think he won them back. I think he won a lot of people over with it. And you know, he showed the fuck up to play. He showed last year. He had a comment, which is what got him pulled when he said that, you know, I played good. I'm just the quarterback. Other people need to do their jobs better or some shit. And that's what got him yanked. And in this one, he was telling people like, I lost us the game, and he was probably the best player on the field that day.
And I think that shot of all of his teammates coming up to him on the sideline. Like, if that doesn't show you him winning the locker room back,
well, exactly,
you know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like, it was like all of them consoling him and be like, nah, dude, like, you're good. You played your ass off.
They just played the defending Super Bowl champs, and he was the best player on the field after all the criticism and all the shit that he got, which is great. There was a great, not to talk about Jalen Hurts, but there was an interview where they asked Jalen Hurts, and they were like, hey, a lot of quarterbacks can go for 303 touchdowns, have a great game, and their team still loses. And it's like, hey, well, the quarterback played great and got his, but we lost. you don't seem to care about your stats or how well you played. You just care that the Eagles win. What made you get to this point in your career where you have that mindset? And he just said, like, what made you reach this point in your career to have that mindset? And he said, by losing. And that was his answer. He's like, I learned to not care about how well I do by individual. Saying that he's there, but in that game he showed some of that, like, moxie. The fact that he's standing there doing his post-game interview with your pads still on. I mean, Joseph, we played football for a while. You know, when you're walking around an hour with your pads on, you either played super great or you are destroyed and you lost. So either you won or you lost. And it didn't matter how well you played. You're either that happy about the win or you're that devastated that you lost. So he was up there having a somber, super melancholy press conference where he's saying, I lost us the game. And there was video of him mouthing that to people on the sideline, like, I fucked this up for us. And in reality, more people blame the refs than they blame everyone. So, I mean, this team's still talented. You know, they're 1-3. This Jet talked about that. But, yeah, tough loss for them. I mean, Kansas City's got to get more consistent. If they're going to play like this, they are not repeating. They are not going anywhere. They might not win the division. That's not true. The division's pretty easy. I already have the Chargers not making it. So that means either the Raiders. That means they have to win the division. And they have no wild card because you guys aren't getting in. And the Raiders sure as fuck aren't. But I mean, I think the Jets are better than the Raiders right now. I think that's a safe bet. Maybe not at certain skill positions, but I mean, Sauce Gardner on Devontae Adams, great matchup. Then you go from there. But I definitely say the Jets are better than like the Raiders. But yeah,
100%.
But yeah, but Chiefs move on 3-1. Last game to talk about for the week: Seahawks Giants. Giants are trash. What else can we say? Seahawks defense, young, scary. Giants are trash. And it's not all Daniel Jones. That's not fair. It's not,
I mean, Daniel Jones is trash. Like, they were good at the end of the last year. Brian Dable won Coach of the Year.
They're more like the Vikings than they are like the Eagles, where they won a lot of close games. A lot of games by close points there at the end of the season. And now we're seeing
that makes sense.
They don't have people who can get open. He has no receivers to throw to.
Couldn't beat the Cowboys last year.
Running touchdown. Get out of here, because their defense is putting it on them. And Witherspoon all over the place. And Geno got hurt, then they put in Drew Lock, 2 for 6 for 63 yards, and he led them down to where they scored a touchdown before the end of the half. Like on that long play to Noah Fant. Oh, I'm sure you missed Noah Fant on your team there, Joe.
So much.
Yeah, he was a beast. I mean, it wasn't like they did anything spectacular, but the defense was all over Daniel Jones. They had 11 sacks in this game. 11 sacks. That's nuts. With 3 turnovers. So the Giants had 36 minutes to the 20 flows. You feel, I mean, in some ways you got to feel bad for Danny Dimes strictly because he has no one to really throw to. The offensive line is garbage. Everything is just not looking well for them. They look really bad. Dallas, Vegas, New York. I think he's like, big market. It's not like he's like, oh, I want to.
Kind of a red flag.
Well, yeah, but I mean, he's all about his business. He's a businessman now. He's got an NIL deal, so he's that motherfucker's. He's on national commercials for Wendy's. That dude's getting paid. He's fine. That's why he said, if I don't like who's gonna draft me, I'll just keep playing. I'll make more money if I just keep playing college football. Try to win 3 Heismans in a row. And we'll see. Any thoughts on this game?
No.
Well, we finished just in time. Mr. Goody might be showing up. He should be showing up. Do you want to recap your?
Holy crap!
Oh, I saw you, Joe. So you saw this guy, the Duke, right? This golf guy, the Duke.
Yeah.
Duke.
Would you play golf with the Duke?
Tell you what, that's a good ball, though.
I love the. So this apparently, what's this guy's Twitter handle? I'm trying to remember. Brilliantly Dumb, Robbie Berger. He plays golf. He's got a little social media following. He does not a little. He has a lot. And he goes and plays golf. I guess he goes to go play, and he gets team matched up with this guy, and who told me to call him the Duke. And he's got this goofy ass hat, these big baggy shorts. He's wearing like Nikes. I mean, what type of club is that? Is that a Big Bertha? Is that a Callaway Big Bertha? Because he's got a big ass headed driver. He's got the goofiest fucking swing ever.
Are you talking about the guy that's smoking the cigarette?
Yeah, the Duke, man.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
that video is hilarious.
And so he's out here, and I'm playing it right now on full screen, so it's running. But there's the Duke, man.
Give it a ride, Duke.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
This
like
swing, and like he like how he pushes it, because that's not off. Oh, I guess that is off the tee.
Go ahead, Duke. Look at this guy, man.
Dude, he's wanting.
Holy shit, Duke, you're a sick fuck.
It's
But
the joke of like
the
disc
shuffle,
golf.
though.
It's like the guys that have like nice backpacks and carts, don't ever play that good. But then the guy that comes up with his disc and like a grocery bag will like just destroy.
This is like I want to start playing more golf just because you can run into dudes like this. Have you ever ran into a Duke on the links there 2.0?
Can't say I have.
Have you ever that's a big ass headed driver, and he uses he's using a driver for every shot we see him take. It's not like he's using anything else, but he's got a pretty good shot, man. Like he's accurate with it. Puts that shit down on the green. And his shuffle skills
Bro, if you want to have experiences, play disc golf. I'm telling you. I played with a homeless dude. Giving him a disc after playing, he was super nice. I played randomly with an old guy, and after us playing randomly with each other, I started talking about a disc I had lost, and he happened to be the person that had and found my disc. And I was just like, what is this? Disc golf, bro. Like, random, beautiful moments.
Yeah, disc golf, the astrology of sports.
Big money, dude.
Oh, you disc golf, bro? What's your course? What's your course, bro? It's like, what's your sign? What's your course?
Heritage Park.
I'll go with you one of these days. When it's hot and in the summer, I don't want to play disc golf. That sounds. If I want to smoke weed and wander around in the woods and shit, I'll just like hang out at home. Like I don't want to go wander around in the heat, throwing a frisbee in the woods. That just doesn't sound appealing. Sorry, I'm just trying to be demeaning as possible. But I don't really want to do that when it's really hot in a Texas summer. Now, like now when it's like cooling down, you could probably get me to go out there. I might be down. I'd be more likely to play golf when it's really hot than play disc golf. And what's fun, that doesn't make sense, but it doesn't have to because it's my show. All right, we'll give him a second and we'll see if the 2.0 shows up. Another video. This Amazon driver was driving.
One that can't spell Eagles.
Some people believe that not this last game, but the first game she went to with Jason Kelsey, she is.
With the popcorn?
Yeah, the popcorn. Do you think she did it?
No, because it showed them actually leaving, like together. Another clip.
That's just.
But she does leave or goes to her concerts in like a janitor thing, like a mop bucket, push cart.
This video is epic because it's just like some drunk ass, like middle-aged women being like, she's in the popcorn machine. She's in there. That's the shit. Thank you for doing that, man. I can't stand Mac Jones. Ugh.
Fumble, sack, touchdown.
The Duke was getting offered a contract, dude, to play golf.
Doesn't the Cowboys have the most turnovers too so far this season?
I think so.
Dude, I think the defense is a real deal. I just think Arizona, like, did you hear what,
Asses kicked. We know we fucked up. Where do we go from here? That we just got to get better. So let's look at, we don't even need to watch the tape. Let's worry about doing our jobs. You can kind of focus in a different way when you lose business and realize it's almost easier to shake it off when you lose that bad.
Did you see the post-game interview with Dak?
Yeah.
The guy asked him about and it was like right after dominating the Patriots, he was like asking him how he felt about, the locker room after losing the Niners last year. And Dak was
he's like, thanks for that. Thanks, I appreciate that.
No, he was just like, he's like, are you trying to piss me off with that question?
He's like, maybe.
Yeah.
Some cornball cowboy shit, getting motivated by the reporter on TV. Please be more.
Cornball, no.
Please be more soap opera. I appreciate that. Thanks for the motivation.
It was true though, dude. That was attitude, rightfully so. Like
Jalen Hurts
dominated a team.
Jalen Hurts,
like that's a question asked for like today or Thursday or later on in the week, like right when the game. It's like It hasn't even been 20 minutes since you dominated the Patriots, and it's like, hey, about that loss about 49ers last year in the playoffs,
Well, yeah, because they're in a moment. 2.0, I think you got yourself muted. Have a cornball moment. To me, I was just like, come on, man. I'll take a Jalen Hurts quote over a Dak quote any day.
Oh, well, did you see the clip of the Eagles game predicting Kelsey and Swift's relationship?
Oh, yeah. Kelsey Hurts Swift. Let's go, because he got that dog in him. Let's go. All right, well, I mean, we don't have the Schultzster here, but we can get into bets with 2.0. I know it's past your bedtime.
Yeah, I need to hear
shout out
advice you need to give him.
Shout out 2.0. Growing up, big boy job, big boy relationship, big boy business, big boy no sleeves.
Wait.
Hey, we're gonna have a 3.0. What do you mean?
It's true. Somebody is. It's got to be you.
Right.
How'd we do last week?
Last week went 2-1.
Okay.
Well, took the Seahawks +1 at the Giants. Not really close. Giants suck. The Chiefs did not cover the 9.5 against the Jets, and then we already talked about these games. I'm not going to go into them too much. And then we had our +6, +160 teaser. The Eagles covered the -2 against the Commanders. The 49ers covered the -8 against the Cardinals. And the Cowboys covered the 0.5 point against the Patriots. So, what did I say? 2-1, 9-6 on the year. Gotta do the math for the units, but it's having fun. I'm excited for the rest of the season.
Seems like the algorithm has become more perfected.
We're at, yeah, it's getting better. It's getting better.
You smoking a banana? What the fuck is that on your lap, dude? Looks like.
Who?
The angle of it looked like a little banana. That's just funny.
Pineapple coconut.
Didn't it though? It looked kind of like a nanner. All right, to get into this week, sir.
This week we got the Eagles -4.5 at the Rams at -105. The Eagles are just a superior team here. We saw the Rams struggle. Middle of the road team. They're one of the top 4 teams in the NFL right now. So I like them to cover this slightly larger spread of 4.5. I think the 49ers are going to dominate the Cowboys here. 49ers are a complete team, top to bottom. We've seen the Cowboys be exposed, and I just don't really trust them against them.
Same time. So.
Yeah, we'll see. And then going back to the Chiefs here, -4 against the Vikings. Yes, they did look bad on Sunday night.
The Vikings.
But this is also the defending Super Bowl. I do think they bounced back from that performance on Sunday night against the Vikings team that, as we talked about earlier, has a lot of struggles this season. And I think this is a perfect kind of bounce back opportunity, get right spot for the Chiefs. Then we got a little 3-leg teaser here. So the Panthers at the Lions. We're teasing the Lions down from -10 to -4. We're teasing the Dolphins down from -11 to -5 against the Giants. And then we're teasing the Bills from -5.5 to +0.5 point against the Jaguars. So basically they just need to win the game. Going into it a little bit, the Lions look legit. They dominated the Packers in every facet of the game on Thursday. And I also like that they had this extended time to prepare for this Panthers team. Then they probably don't even need it. The Panthers just aren't that good. And then the Dolphins they got blown out last week by the Bills, but the Giants and the Bills are on two completely different planets.
Yeah.
The Giants, horrible. And then the Bills here, we did see them just dominate the Dolphins team every asset of the game. Jaguars are good, but they're also young. They're going through some growing pains right now, and I just don't think they have what it takes to beat the Bills.
That might be my upset pick of the week, only because Jags being already there, and the Bills, with the shorter week with the traveling and everything else. It's just, I think that could be a weird advantage where the Jags
going out doing a bunch of sightseeing and whatnot, or it'll be interesting to see.
I mean, well, I guess depending on who's been on the team, Bragg, dude, we're here every year.
All right, well, so run through your picks one more time.
Half against the Rams. You got the 49ers minus 3.5 against the Cowboys. You got the Chiefs minus 4 against the Vikings. Then we got a 3-leg teaser. We're teasing the Lions down from minus 11 to minus 5 against the Giants. And we're teasing the Bills down from minus 5.5 to plus 0.5 point against the Jaguars.
All right, well, you heard them here. Those are 2.0's picks. You've been on fire as far as that goes, so shout out to you. Yeah, and I guess we don't have Mr. Goody today. He'd normally be here by now. We have Texas OU this week. I hope OU wins. That'd just be funny. It's just I enjoy parody.
Who are you?
Because I don't care with parody. College football's better with parody. I get it. Yes, they haven't been in the college playoff that's existed for like 4 or 5 years. No, Colt McCoy.
Or no, not Vince Young. Yeah, but God, don't even remind me.
They've been ranked before. Texas chokes and loses. Texas and OU both choke and lose to teams they're not supposed to lose to. And sometimes the team they're not supposed to lose to is Texas or it is OU.
Oh, no.
That happens all the time.
Whoever's not ranked ends up
so
winning
I'm just saying,
it'd
just be funny if Texas lost.
No, it wouldn't be. It
would be. Just
Texas has a good team.
Right, it'd be funny. Texas looks good and looks primed to go to the SEC. But we'll see. That's to be determined. But yeah, I mean, they have a lot of talent. They have a good running back. They have good receivers. They're super fast. Texas looks like the most complete, especially on offense, and they've looked in years. It's primed for that. Because both these teams think they should be. And we've seen them come in, and it could be a 18-10. They are. We've seen Oklahoma come in super hot and lose to an unranked Texas, or vice versa. So anything's possible. It's Red River, man.
Yeah, Pat McAfee's going out there on Friday, and I thought about, man.
Well, I appreciate you guys being on.
Big wrestling news.
What's the big wrestling news? Tell me, crazy.
Ed.
All right, well, you heard it here first. Well, not first, but you heard it.
Yeah, man, where's the excitement?
I just gave you a round of applause. You have a round of applause on the live. I literally just gave you the round of applause and the cheers. I doubled up.
And then I've been holding up.
Good things.
Yeah, dude.
Not gonna get Modern Warfare 3, bro?
God. Honestly, the only reason I would get it is for the zombies.
Are you 2.0? I'm probably not. It is gaming console. Welcome to the real world.
No, that sounds depressing.
Yeah. It's true. In the bag. Wood. You're good, men. Thank you so much. Joe, go to sleep.
Adios.
Peace out. Are you just going to sit there all
I don't want to just hang out until Mr. Goody shows up.
All right, that's fine. Well, I'm about to end it.
What time is it, actually?
What time 10, is it? So I'm about to end it.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, if he was going to be
on,
it
was like 9:30.
20 minutes ago. No, we got right to the bets at 9:30, which is great. But yeah, no. You're all good, man, but I appreciate you. And you can stay here while I wrap it up if you want.
I'm gonna play my Resident Evil.
All right. Peace out. James Elwood.
Go Cowboys.
These fucking guys. Oh, I tell you what. Well, another one down. Another week. Number 29, Taylor Swift's annoying, and the refs love Patrick Mahomes. Angry Black Quarterback. Follow Kick, Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, wherever the fuck you want. Really appreciate you guys coming by. Be safe, be good, stay out of trouble, watch some football, be nice to each other. Peace.